And we're back. Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back finally. I do apologize for the gap in which I haven't uploaded anything, but I am very sick right now, as you can probably hear, so I'm not going to sound the best during this video. But I felt I had to get something up because you are all being so terribly nice to me by uploading all these positive comments and subscribing to me, and I'm about to break 1,000 views, which makes me very, very happy. So thank you very much for that. It's only been about 3 weeks since I started this, and I've already got 1,000 views. So thank you, all of you. I didn't expect this many views this fast. So, as promised, this is, I don't know what part of the GregTech Tutorial Series, part 4. I think. Oh jeez, it's been so long I don't remember which one is. Oh god, yes, this is part 4. This is on energy production and storage. So this is going to cover all of the energy production and storage blocks from GregTech. So let's get started. Alright, so last tutorial we covered multi-block structures and industrial machines. So that was a pretty extensive tutorial. And this time we're going to cover the different methods of energy production you can use from GregTech at the start. So the first thing I'm going to cover, and probably the most used, is the thermal generator. Basically, it's just a geothermal generator from IC2, and its recipe is 2 circuits, a geothermal generator, reinforced glass, and 5 invar plates or aluminum plates. But it is more efficient. It produces, it produces, as you can see, generates energy from lava at 80% efficiency. Now, 80% efficiency means not that it's 80% of whatever, efficiency is considered a norm, but it's 80% of the efficiency that GregTech can produce. So, as you can see, if I'm mousing over a lava bucket, and NEI over here to the right, it says it can produce 180,000 RF at a magmatic engine from thermal expansion, 30,000 RF at 24 EU would take in a thermal generator, and 10,000 RF at 20 EU would take in a geothermal generator. It used to produce 20,000 RF, or 20,000 EU in a geothermal generator, but I think either GregTech nerfed that or IC2 nerfed that, so now only produces 10,000. So the thermal generator is 3 times as efficient as the geothermal generator, and not all that more expensive. So definitely get these as an upgrade to your geothermals in this setup over here. Next one, which I have quite honestly only ever used once, the Semifluid Generator. The Semifluid Generator is basically used for processing thick fluids, and it is the most efficient generator that GregTech has for this, because it is the only generator that GregTech has for this. I believe that there is a Semifluid Generator from Industrial Craft 2. I don't know what it's used to produce. It may be the exact same thing as the Semifluid Generator from GregTech. I've noticed that a lot of things from GregTech have been being moved over to IC2 lately, so we shall see. And the Semifluid Generator crafted just like the thermal, but instead of a geothermal generator, uses a regular generator and iron or aluminum plates and 2 electronic circuits. So it can process stuff like, let's see, it says biofuel, biomass, bioethanol, seed oil, creosote oil, sodium, lithium, and so on. So all the thick fluids. Now some of these can be processed in multiple things, like for example, bioethanol can be produced. It can be processed in a diesel generator, which is far more efficient than a semi-fluid generator. And it can also be processed in a combustion engine or biogas engine or biogenerator. So, it can be processed in multiple things. Creosote oil can only be processed in a biogas, semi-fluid, or liquid-fueled firebox. So it just provides a bit more options. You can use this to process your excess lithium or sodium. It's pretty efficient for that. Diesel generator, basically just a combustion engine. Burns fuels at 100% efficiency. 5 iron plates or aluminum plates. Aluminum is pretty much a substitute for iron in GregTech. 2 electronic circuits and a generator. Nothing in the middle. Same GUI as all the others. It can burn fuel, oil, stuff like that. Gas turbine. It processes gases like methane. I think methane is the only thing it can process at the time. No, it can also process hydrogen. So hydrogen and methane can both be processed in a gas turbine. And again, this is 75% efficiency. There is a larger multi-block structure that can process more efficiently. 2 advanced circuits, 2 windmills, 4 M-bar plates, and a reinforced glass. Okay, next, plasma generator. The plasma generator is very, very high tier. As it might sound, it's used for processing plasma. The only thing that it can process is helium plasma, which can produce 4,096,000 EU. It's really weird. GregTech measures all of its power outputs in thousands of EU, so that means it's 4.96 or 4.096 million EU. And plasma generator is crafted with a generator, 2 energy flow circuits, an HV transformer, and 5 tungsten steel plates. So it's 100%. It produces 2048 EU per packet. And it has an internal EU storage of 10 million. So it is very, very powerful. Helium plasma is produced from the fusion reactor. And we will get to that in part 7. Dragon Egg Energy Siphon. Oops. Doesn't have a GUI. Very surprising. But basically what it does is this little socket on top. You plop a dragon egg onto the top of it, and it starts producing 1024 EU a tick. I think it's 1024 EU a tick, and that number changes constantly. I don't know why, but it keeps getting changed in every revision of IC2. So I think it's 1024 EU a tick right now. And it outputs it in, I think, HV packets or EV packets. I think, yeah, it's EV packets. And so basically, as soon as you put a dragon egg on top of it, it'll light up and start producing massive amounts of flux from Thermcraft. If you don't have Thermcraft installed, it won't do that. But if you do have Thermcraft installed, it'll start spewing out massive amounts of flux. So put this somewhere where you don't care about the environment. Go away, rain. And rain lights all your GregTech machines on fire. Something to remember. Don't put them where they don't have shelter. And if you forget that, you will learn it very, very quickly. GregTech machines that are on fire will explode after a time. Next thing, large steam turbine. The large steam turbine is a little bit special because it is not a single block structure, it is a multi-block structure. Made with 5 gas turbines, 2 steel gears, a tier 2 machine hull, and an advanced circuit. It basically can process steam at 100% efficiency, and it says pipe is loose, screws are missing, something is stuck, platings are dented, circuitry burned out, that doesn't belong there, incomplete structure. It has a ton of errors. Basically, this is a huge multi-block structure. There's actually a manual on it that you can find. I'm not going to explain it here, but it's this huge multi-block structure that's fully automatable. It has inputs, outputs, and stuff like that. You feed steam in, you put a rotor in it, and your rotor has durability. And after a certain amount of time, your rotor will break. If your rotor breaks, the structure will explode. And after a while, there'll be little problems appearing, and you'll need to fix them through a maintenance hatch with tools in there. So it requires a lot of maintenance, but it will produce a massive amount of power, and it consumes 16,000 millibuckets of steam per tick. So it's 16 buckets of steam every tick, which is completely insane. Next, the thermal boiler. Same thing, multi-block structure, consumes a massive amount of lava, and if you have a lava filter in this slot right here, then it'll also produce side products. It'll produce steam from the lava. Feed in water and lava and it'll produce steam, and also byproducts of obsidian, electrum, copper, and tin, I think. So, good byproducts there. It's even good if you just want to get just a whole bunch of stuff from lava. Same thing though, it does not require a turbine or anything like that, but it does require maintenance every once in a while, but it won't explode if it requires maintenance, it'll just stop running. Next thing, Magic Energy Absorber. Magic Energy Absorber is 2 iridium plates, 4 energy flow circuits, a Magic Energy Converter, which we'll get to later, a beacon, and a superconductor. Very expensive. What it does, has all these modes here, and I think, yeah, what it does is basically it has these two things off and on. This little symbol down at the bottom next to this panel right here is the symbol for one of those ender crystals you find in the end. Put this in the end adjacent to one of the ender crystals, and it'll start siphoning energy out of the ender crystal. So it'll produce 128 EU a tick from, or actually no, I think it's 24 EU a tick from an ender crystal. And it'll draw from multiples, I think. But you can stop it doing that by switching this to off. This mode is absorbing from items. Put an item in here, and it'll absorb, it'll disenchant items, and it'll do other stuff like that. So all of this stuff can be put in the Magic Energy Converter, but this will disenchant any items that are put in it. So it's very cool in that respect. Have any junk enchants? Flop them in here and you get power for them. Magic Energy Converter, used in building the Magic Energy Absorber. 4 advanced circuits, 2 thalmium plates, a Lapotron crystal, another beacon, so both of these are extremely expensive because they require a nether star, and a teleporter. This one runs off of magic fuel. Now, magic fuel can be anything from mercury, which is the liquid form of quicksilver, to nether stars, which produce 100 million EU, which is a massive amount of power, ender eyes, gassed tears, live roots, ironwood ingots, vintium, shards from Thalmcraft, magic tallow, anything magical, even fiery blood from the Twilight Forest, will be converted into power through the Magic Energy Converter. Very handy. Last thing on the list, Lightning Rod. The Lightning Rod is, it's another structure that doesn't have a GUI. It is technically a multi-block structure, because it can't function without other blocks besides this one. But basically it's just what it sounds like. It's a lightning rod. It attracts lightning and produces a massive amount of power from it. Now, if I can find an iron fence here somewhere. Okay, never mind. I'll just search for it. Where's an iron fence? That's an iron wall. Here we go. Basically, you stack a ton of iron fences on top of this thing. No, not like that. And the higher you go, I can't go any higher because that's actually the block limit, because this is a really high world. Basically, the higher you go, the better the chances things can get struck by lightning is. And every time it gets struck by lightning, then it produces 10 million EU. And it outputs it at 8192 EU a tick. So you can have HV transformers on each one of these 4 sides, and it'll produce 10 million EU each time this thing's struck by lightning. It's crafted with 4 energy flow circuits, 4 highly advanced machine blocks, which are tier 4 machine blocks, and a super condensator. Super condensators are 4 energy flow circuits, 2 superconductors, 2 Lapotronic energy orbs, and a highly advanced machine block. So ridiculously expensive, but if you put this in like a Mistcraft age with Eternal Thunderstorm on or something, and no, charged Mistcraft ages won't work because it's actually not lightning technically. This will only get struck by lightning from thunderstorms. If you put this in an Eternal Thunderstorm Mistcraft age, then it'll produce practically infinite power for you. It'll produce it used to be an MFSU's worth every time it gets struck, but an MFSU can now store 40 million instead of 10 million. So it can produce 1/4 of an MFSU every time it gets struck by lightning. And so if you have an array of these things powering mass fabs or something, you get practically infinite material from it. So it is really, really powerful. So, that's about it for energy production. Now, let's go on to energy storage. And there isn't much here because GregTech doesn't add much in the way of energy storage. It mostly relies on the stuff from IC2. They removed a couple of energy storage mediums, too. There used to be something called the LESU that was really cool that they removed for some reason. First off, the AESU, Adjustable Energy Storage Unit, can store 100 million EU, and it's basically adjustable. And it can accept up to 8192 EU a tick in. These little buttons here adjust how much EU a tick it can put out. So the big ones adjust it by 64 per, the small ones adjust it by 1. So if I want to power something LV with this, (32 EU a tick out. If I want to power something NV with this, 128. HV, 512. EV, 2048. I can even pump it up to quad EV if I want. Basically, this thing is practically unlimited. I can even pump it up past quad EV, I think. No, the limit is quad EV. So it can output 8192 EU a tick out. Max. And to store 100 million EU. Very versatile. Very versatile. 6 energy flow circuits, energy orb, and GregTech computer cube, and a highly advanced machine block. IDSU. Most powerful energy storage unit in the game. Can store 1 billion EU, 8192 EU a tick in and out. It has an ID here on the screen. IDSU stands for Interdimensional Storage Unit. Basically, it's an ender chest for power. 4 AESUs and 4 iridium reinforced plates and an ender chest. It can either be or it can be an ender tank or an ender chest from ender storage, or it can be a vanilla ender chest. Basically, IDSU, its function is every player has a separate ID. When you place an IDSU, it has the same ID between each IDSU. So even if this one is in another dimension, if I put power into this one, power will appear in this one, and this one, and this one. So every IDSU placed by me will have the same ID and will have the same amount of power. Even if I destroy all of the IDSUs that I have, when I place another IDSU, it'll have the same amount of power in it. So, for example, let me find something like Lapatronic Energy Orb that I can plop in one of these IDSUs to demonstrate for you. Okay, apparently that tab does not have IDSU or power in it. Here we go, Lapatron pack. Go in here, please. That has 311,296 EU. Place this one. 311,296. Oh my god, that spider has a giant creeper head on. Break them both. Place another one. 311,296. So, basically it's a way to store all of your power. It'll be good for like backup power or something if your base is destroyed, or I don't know. There's a ton of uses you can think of. It's ridiculously expensive, but it's worth it if you need a ton of power. So, that's about it for GregTech energy production and storage. If you think I missed anything, let me know in the comments. I might have. I'm very ignorant that way. I just looked through the NEI tab for GregTech. Okay, apparently I have caps lock on. Whatever. Looks like a noob wrote it in chat. Anyway, so yeah, that is for GregTech energy production and storage. Like I said, if you think I missed something, let me know, and I will try and do it in my upcoming tutorial. And that's about it for today, and thanks for watching.